What is up, everyone? Welcome to the elimination stage. We have done it. We have taken over 300 players in the T5S2 Season 2 leaderboards and reduced them to just 8 who are going to be fighting for their chance to get to the Invitational semifinals today. We have 4 super sick, super spicy games of Warhammer 40k coming at you today, and I hope everyone is ready for some absolutely awesome gaming. Welcome everyone to the channel. We have over here in the red playing Tyranids. This is probably the coolest hot swap we saw, moving from the group stage over to the elimination stage. Chris Kinnair, aka Barb, who qualified into the elimination stage playing Adeptus Mechanicus with 6 flyers, swapped into Tyranids playing not only Double Warriors, not only Hive Guard, not only a Maliceptor, but also this one wingy boy right here, the Harridan. Incredible. We have some spicy lists for the elimination stage for you today, everybody, but this might be the spiciest one. It's almost like the 6 planes of the Adeptus Mechanicus initiated their mega morphing sequence and formed the Voltron of the single Harridan. We took 6 tough to 7 planes with 10 wounds each. We made 134 wound tough to 8 Harridan with roughly equivalent firepower. Incredible. So I'm super excited for this game. We have over here in the white against him and going first in the first seat, Skauki in the blue playing White Scars. And I think this is going to be an awesome match, everyone. White Scars, an interesting take, or an interesting matchup into Tyranids. They do certainly have the ability to clean through this pretty resilient Tyranid infantry at the front here. And also they have a ton of pretty hard-hitting melee flyers to deal with this Harridan. So I think it's going to be an exciting game. Thanks, everybody, for joining. For the folks in chat, I'll set up the giveaway momentarily. We're going to be giving away some boxes, some 40k sets that have been donated graciously by the community. And over the next couple rounds, over the course of the weekend, we're going to be giving away some gift cards and some other prizes as well. So thanks, everyone, for joining, and I really appreciate it. Let's talk about these lists real quick, everybody. So we've talked about Chris Kinnair's list a little bit, taking this really interesting Tyranid build. Like we mentioned before, Chris Kinnair has been playing all sorts of stuff on the lead up to the Invitational. He essentially qualified playing almost nothing but Necrons, then registered Adeptus Mechanicus, I think believing that it was the most powerful faction going into the Invitational, and I think he was proved right with a 3-0 record. We also saw, I think, all of the other Adeptus Mechanicus players move on from the... except for Dan K, every single Adeptus Mechanicus player moved on to the elimination stage. And he decided not to continue to play Adeptus Mechanicus, I think, assuming that people would tech for it, and instead brought something way out of left field, which is awesome. So this is a High Fleet Kronos list, entirely Kronos, bringing a patrol detachment along with a Neurothrope, 2 units of Tyranid warriors. One has a combination of Lash Whip, Bone Swords, and Scything Talons. The other one, 100% Scything Talons. Those are both 9 warrior units. We also have a 5 warrior unit with just Scything Talons as well, really taking advantage of the really inexpensive wounds that Tyranid warriors can bring into your list. Should mention as well, everyone, exclamation point lists in the chat if you want to follow along with me, and you can find all of the lists for the elimination stage at tts40k.com/invitational. That's where to get all the fun and interesting info on the events. But following up in this list, we have a unit of 6 Hive Guard, as is to be expected out of a Tyranid list. They're hiding in the back here. As well as 2 Sky Slasher Swarms, some technology that I absolutely love. They are phenomenal, especially on some of the missions that we are going to be playing in the elimination stage. We have Retrieval Mission scheduled as the final round, and Sky Slasher Swarms are excellent in moving up, breaking banners, contesting banner placement. They also score engage on all fronts extremely easily, and sometimes they can perform actions, which is pretty good. And in this mission, looks like Barb is going to be making use of that ability. We also have 2 Biovores, for movement blocking purposes, and 1 Exocrine to add some additional firepower to the list. Last but not least, we have a Maleceptor to protect from gun lines. Fortunately, not a big deal in this particular matchup, given that we're only going to be fighting against Vanguard veterans for the most part. But fortunately, the Maleceptor does drop potentially 2 Smite equivalent powers at +1 to cast, so it can actually do a number on high resilience infantry just by putting a bunch of mortal wounds out. Last but not least, we have the one and only big flappy boy, the Harridan. And this is some really interesting and unique tech. Let's talk about the Harridan real quick. For those who haven't played against one or seen it on the table, this thing got an incredible glow up in the Imperial Armor Compendium. It was basically a stone unplayable profile before that, but certainly looks a lot tastier now. It's a Lord of War option for a Tyranid army. Comes in at an inexpensive 700 points. Coming in at 34 wounds, toughness 8, strength 8, 3+ weapon skill, ballistic skill. That is a base 5 attacks. And its melee weapons are nothing to shake a stick at. They're Silent Talents, so they reroll 1s, but they come in at a profile of strength 10, -3 AP for 6 flat damage. That's right, not a D6, not a D3 plus 3, none of that pittance here. It is flat 6 damage with 5 attacks, which is pretty insane. It also has 2 bio cannons mounted on its wings as well. 8 shots apiece for a total of 16 at strength 10, AP3, 3 flat damage profile. It has the ability to give itself +1 to wound in the shooting phase by suffering D3 mortal wounds, which hilariously you can also you can save those mortal wounds on Catalyst as well if you have cast that power on it. It's an aircraft. It follows all of the normal aircraft rules, but it does also have a hover mode, so it can, drop out of its aircraft mode in order to charge. And one of the pieces of technology that Chris told me before the game that he's looking to use is by sending this thing in, you can dump your stratagems and psychic powers on it to buff up its shooting profile. You can Symbiostorm it since it is in High Fleet Cronus for exploding 6s on its ranged attacks. You can pathogenic slimes for to make those guns flat 4 damage if you really need to punch through some high wound count models. And then you can charge into melee, use Voracious Appetite to full reroll your wounds, and then if you do end up killing whatever you charged, which in fairness you probably will, you can then push it directly back off the table with Overrun. You can use Overrun to move off the table edge, and it being an aircraft and using the aircraft rules, it will just go into Strategic Reserve, and you can Deep Strike it again next turn. It can only do that every other turn, essentially, since you can't Overrun after you come in out of Deep Strike, but you can keep it safe from sort of multi-meltas coming at you, which is a pretty big deal. The rest of Chris's list is pretty standard Tyranid 4 that fair. The Maleceptor is mostly going to be there to protect the toughness 8 monsters against the ranged Alpha Strike, which makes a ton of sense. And the Tyranid Warriors are going to do an excellent job at holding down the ground while the Harridan slowly kills Chris's opponent's entire army. One of these Tyranid Warrior squads has been upgraded with enhanced resistance. I'm not sure which one it is. I assume it's the one with the special melee weapons, which is pretty obnoxious for White Scars. It means that they do have to set themselves into Assault Doctrine if they ever really want to engage these warriors, because the warriors will be able to bounce off their Lightning Claw attacks at only base AP3. You need the base AP2, excuse me. You need to get to AP3 to functionally damage these guys, but also the 2 flat damage will chew through them pretty quickly. So I imagine we see Chris play pretty defensively, try to keep those guys as far away as possible, put some defensive buffs on them, potentially with Catalyst, and try to make the engagement as difficult for these Vanguard veterans as possible. So Skauki has moved up the table pretty aggressively, put the majority of his army into these L's to hide from the Exocrine shooting. Unfortunately, I mean, for him, the Harridan is probably going to be able to draw line of sight to whatever at once, given that it's a tall model in and of itself, and also it is going to be able to fly over this terrain if it needs to. But the real question here is whether Chris decides to commit the Harridan this turn and try to send it off the table. Unfortunately, Space Marines are a little bit difficult for the Harridan to one-shot effectively in melee, especially since most of the units that don't have invulnerable saves can be protected by transhuman physiology, which means that the Harridan needs to essentially fully convert its attacks in order to kill them. And if it does decide to take a central position to take shots at the Vanguard veterans, they could pretty easily counterattack it. That said, there's no Corsaro Khan in Skauki's list, so he is locked into Strength 4, essentially, on his Vanguard veterans, which means they do wound the Toughness 8 Harridan on 6s. The Lightning Cloud rerolls do help a lot with that, but it's a little tough to get in there with those guys. Although we do have a captain on the bike with the Teeth of Terra, so he is going to be able to come in on 5s with a whole boatload of attacks. Talk about Skauki's list real quick here while we're going through the rest of the Tyranid movement phase. Bringing a single battalion detachment out of White Scars, led by a captain on a bike. Like we mentioned, with the Teeth of Terra, I think he's been upgraded to the super slashy captain. So he has Chagorian Storm. He has Master of Snares today, so not using the Imperium Sword to get an additional attack and strength out of that, which is totally fair. Once you get to Strength 5, you're probably okay. Strength 6 is not that big of a deal unless you're playing against a Toughness 3 or a Toughness 5 majority army, but Tyranids typically tend to have a lot of T4 and 8. Which means that Strength 5 is just fine for them. But he has Master of Snares in his as his second Warlord trait instead, which means that potentially this captain could lock in these Tyranid warrior units and just continue to beat on them with the Teeth of Terra. They won't be able to escape and continue to hold down the objectives. Unfortunately, Teeth of Terra, another only AP2 weapon, so that enhanced resistance is going to be doing work against them. We also have 2 Incursor squads, as well as an Infiltrator squad. 2 Company Veterans, just 2 individuals. Mostly there, I think, to add a screening unit and perform some actions. One of them has a Storm Shield, one with 2 Chain Swords, which means that guy comes in at 6 attacks, I think, which is pretty fun on the charge. We also have a bunch of Vanguard veterans. 2 units of 10 Vanguard veterans, all Lightning Claw Storm Shields, 1 unit of 5, and they have all been combat squatted, so we have 5 individual units of 5 Vanguard vets in this army. 25 total Lightning Claw Storm Shield veterans. Really leaning on that profile pretty hardcore. I think Skauki did mention to me before the game he was definitely expecting the Adeptus Mechanicus flyers, and those Vanguard veterans feel pretty good against them. As soon as they can get through the mortal wounds off the Fusilier bombers, being able to charge them with a flat 2 damage really pulls those planes out of the air really quickly. And as long as you can get these guys into decent cover, which this map has a reasonable amount of, against the autocannon Ballastarii that Chris was running previously, he was be able to you keep them relatively safe on a 1+ armor save with those Storm Shields against the autocannons, which will be helpful. We also have an Inceptor squad with 5 Inceptors with Plasma Exterminators. Looks like those guys are in Deep Strike, as well as 2 units of attack bikes, 3 attack bikes apiece, all with multi-meltas. Those are also in reserve. So Skauki really cognizant of the firepower of the Harridan. Harridan can easily go in, split fire, and kill 2 of these units in one shooting phase. And if you can, get a beat on with the Hive Guard on another one, you could kill potentially all of the powerful ranged attacks that are in Skauki's list, which really neuters his ability to deal with this big Toughness 8 monster. Now those attack bikes are in encirclement right now, so it isn't normal strategic reserve. We do have to keep that in mind. They can come in any table edge, turn 2 onwards, which is pretty spicy, and that might be one reason that this Harridan might want to try to send itself off the table on turn 1 to limit the amount of shooting that the White Scars can bring to it. But it looks like we're gonna have a supremely cagey game this round. Looks like moving up Sky Slasher Swarms with a Metabolic Overdrive to block as much real estate in the center of the table as possible. One of Chris's game plans here may be literally to try to fill the space around the Harridan with as many flying models and spore mines as possible to make engaging into it as difficult as possible. Now, that doesn't work super well against a White Scars army, given that the White Scars are able to fly, they're able to advance and charge, they have a high base movement value, and they can pass right over those screening models. But if you're trying to protect yourself against the ground units, that can help quite a bit. And I imagine that we're going to be moving up with the small unit of warriors and performing strategic scans with both of them on objectives 1 and 2 Looks like the center unit couldn't quite get to Objective 3, unfortunately, but it is hiding in the area terrain, which will protect it a little bit against some of the pop guns in this White Scar's army.
Let's go.
But the real question is, where is this Harridan going? What's it going to be fighting? Super excited. Chat, how are we feeling about this game? Let me know. Who are we rooting for? Is it the giant... Is it the great alien dragon, as someone on YouTube put it? Or the great Space Marine Dragon Slayers over here? Let me know. I'm going to send it back to the players' mics here while Chris is deciding on the rest of his movement phase. Tyranids all the way. Wow. Look at all these folks calling for Tyranids. Here comes the Harridan, everybody. Where's it going? Are we hover moding? Are we aircrafting? Looks like an aircraft move. Oh, maybe a hover mode move. Looks like we're just going to be hovering it in the back. We have most of this area screened out from Meltaguns. Looks like we're probably going to be safe from most of the multi-meltas that could come out of the table. Being an aircraft, the Harridan can be seen over these L's, despite the fact that they have the obscuring keyword. But only a 24-inch range on multi-meltas, and the Plasma Inceptors means that they're going to have a tough time getting range on it. So it may be safe this turn, but if it ever wants to commit, it'll have to expose itself. So much support for Nids in this game. Very cool. I want to mention as well, just in case anybody in chat has any questions, the model on TTS for the Harridan unfortunately has a dramatically oversized base. So what Chris has done here is he actually incorporated a smaller base and replaced the collider on his Harridan. The official base size for the Harridan is essentially this like teeny tiny, almost a dreadnought base kind of thing, which is what we'll be using for actual measurement in this game. If necessary, we may end up proxy basing the Harridan at some point just to get rid of this big disc around it, but it shouldn't be measuring off of it naturally, which will be good.
Okay, and then my X screen can just actually be where I was meant to deploy him on. So, make sure nothing can. Definitely can't fit back here. You can't fit in here. Okay. Psychic then.
Yep.
So I'm going to Symbio Storm first.
Yep.
It goes off, and then Catalyst as a Symbio Storm put on the Hive Guard.
Yeah, that's fine.
Catalyst, and I'm going to put that. You'll put on the Tyranids.
Yep.
Could do with a actual Catalyst marker, but I'll just. There you go. Alright, no other psychic powers, so straight into shooting. Let's do these biovores. So yeah, they'll both shoot into these infiltrators over here actually.
Yep.
So I couldn't put them, if I shot them I could, yeah, I have to shoot the infiltrators. Yeah, so 2 shots into the infiltrators. Oh yeah, 2 miss. There we go.
2 miss. Excellent. Perfect.
Where's my Spore Mine gone? Oh, there he is. Alright, so just outside of... Yeah, so there's nowhere to fit in here now, and they're 3 inches apart, so you'd have 0.8 inch gap, which your base can't fit through, so I just put them 3 inches apart, and you can't walk through the middle, is the idea. Okay, that's them done. Let's do Old Harridan, who will put 8 shots into there and 8 shots into the Vanguard Rets. Okay, so the don't need to give him +1s, so that many, and then 2s. Yeah, I'll see if you roll. I just want to kill stuff. Nope. 7. But 4
Okay.
-3s.
So,
Okay,
Nice.
and then the other 8 into the Vanguard. 4 saves. That's 1.
which Vanguard covers this?
It was
Which is-
the ones you can see here. Yeah. Right. So Hive Guard. What interesting stuff can we do here? Not like I can cursor there, but doesn't really matter. It was these Vanguard vets here that were doing the action, wasn't it?
Yep.
So I'll just go ahead and put 12 shots into them.
Yep.
So freeze, rolling ones. Yeesh. 1 extra. Oh, that's a terrible roll. 6.
Four die.
Equally. No, it's D3. So
Oh,
maybe.
right, yeah. Oh,
One.
yep. 1 dead.
2 dead. 3 dead.
3 dead.
So here we're seeing Hive Guard's excellent ability at killing Vanguard veterans. Unfortunately, the AP2 puts them directly onto their Storm Shield roll, or the Storm Shield save. So, and then Strength 8 also means that they're winning on 2s. So they actually have an excellent profile at killing these guys, ignoring cover as well, so they can't improve their save at all. It's
We've got 2 spots over here.
I think could only be better if they were flat 2 damage, probably.
So I'll put
Sometimes you
4
flub
into
the
that.
damage roll.
I'll put 4 into that 2-man squad and 2 into. Captain back there.
Chat, yeah, we had Symbiostorm go down on the Hive Guard, as well as Catalyst go down on the Red Warriors in the center. I think that's what this token's meant to represent. Looks like Chris did not spawn his own tokens this game.
Yep. So the 4 shots, the 4 into these guys first. Oh no, it's going to be bad again.
Ooh, some terrible rolls out of these
How many hits?
Hive Guard, unfortunately.
Into Vanguard.
Yeah.
So,
So, one's dead. Oh, are you kidding me? That's so bad.
was that into the?
Yeah, we've got one guy left on a wound. Yeah,
Fails to kill the unit by a
shocking
single
rolls.
wound.
And
Now,
the
fortunately
others, yeah, here we go.
for Chris,
Hive
the
Guard.
Primaris Apothecary, he is a
One
little bit
wound.
slow. He's doesn't have a jump pack or anything, so he's
kill it.
he will have to
It's
pull
again
back
number
these
2,
Vanguard
yeah.
veterans if he wants to start regenerating them with the Apothecary, but I think that is a pretty easy choice. One Vanguard veteran isn't really going to swing any of these any of these combats by himself, but being able to get efficiency out of that Apothecary and start regenerating models is going to be pretty
Do you
important.
want to click it back over to me?
And-
I'll click it back to you.
Yeah, I gave you one.
We are back to White Scars.
You just gained the next one.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Okay.
So I started with 5. I should be up to 7 now because I give him myself one. for my
Shit,
turn.
where is the Apothecary on a bike? That's a really good
just
question.
double click this. We'll just click it through and then we can sort it out. Okay, so take one off each of us.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to see the White Scars response here.
On this guy, I guess.
Real big question of whether we put in
Tempted
the
to auto-pass
Inceptors
like
this
dude so
turn.
I can get the action done with
I
it.
don't think that the bikes
Yeah,
are
makes
the
sense.
mounted bikes are going to be doing too much damage,
the
but the
Incaster
Inceptors could
Sergeant-
come in and
Doesn't run.
do a number on one of these warrior units. Unfortunately, the warriors are relatively resistant to plasma attacks, given that they have Unyielding Chitin for -1 to be damaged, or -1 damage against them.
6 for some strategic scan.
So we have 2 banners active on the side of the White Scars, as well as some strategic scans beginning to go through.
All mines do one.
Now, interesting that both players have taken
They
2
either do
identical
Victory
secondary objectives. Both players have taken strategic scan, and both players have taken raise the banners. On Barb's side, we also have While We Stand, We Fight, which I think hits the Harridan and the big monsters. Is that right? Let me double check that real quick, actually.
You've got no way of throwing these.
It'll be the Harridan, the Hive Guard, and the Maliceptor, I believe, are going to be his While We Stand targets. And then Domination on the side of the White Scars. They weren't quite able to get it on turn 1. Nothing fast enough to get to the center objective. But they should be able to score it this turn pretty easily. Looks like we're going to be aiming for a charge with one of these Incursor units. The downside of the Spore Mines is that you can just use them as a charge target. You do have to eat mortal wounds, but they do give you the access to the extra movement. So what Skauki is going to be able to do is just charge his unit in and then use that movement to move the front models onto this objective. And he only needs to put 4 models on this objective to take it back from the Tyranid warriors. That said, I also imagine that he's angling to send Vanguard veterans into these warrior squads. Unfortunately, warriors don't really do any damage to Vanguard veterans on the swing back, so you can kind of engage them for free. And I imagine that we see an adaptive tactics on one of these units and try to get it into this warrior unit on objective 2 and dice them up. The faster we can get rid of those action performers, the better on the White Scar side. Not to mention the fact that they are objective secured, so if you knock them off, being able to take over these Tyranid objectives is going to be a big deal. And getting rid of the objective secured in this mission specifically, because as we mentioned before, it is a hold 2 to score 5 mission, which means that it's going to be tough to come back if you do lose your troops units. And we only have the warriors on the side for the Tyranids. Looks like we are angling to put the Inceptors in and shoot at this warrior unit. Now, again, the warriors can save a lot of that damage with Unyielding Chitin, but unfortunately they are blast susceptible, being over 5 models, which means that each of these Inceptors is going to be shooting 6 shots at them. If you overcharge, you wound on 2s and punch right through their armor saves, so they're going to be eating a ton of shots, even if you're not expecting to wipe the unit out. Yeah, Chad, looks like we had an insane bravery on the morale check there for the Incursors. Or the Vanguard veterans. It's difficult to fail morale with these Space Marine units, in fairness. Nope, little stutter in TTS here.
Don't delete stuff.
Oh no. I always forget that.
Okay, everyone, we are back. I apologize for that. We just had a quick crash out of TTS there. Unfortunately, one issue that can happen with Battlescribe to TTS, but it has been resolved. We're back to our autosave, and the game is continuing. Looks like some questions in chat about the adaptive physiologies on the Tyranid list. We have Dermic Symbiosis on the Harridan, as well as Enhanced Resistance on this unit of warriors in the center here. So ignore AP 1 and 2 on the warrior unit in the middle. The other one is just going to be regular. So unfortunately, that unit will be pretty susceptible to Vanguard veterans. But the other unit is going to be pretty okay. Unless they use adaptive strategy to go back into, or to drop into Assault Doctrine earlier. Thanks everybody for your patience, but we're back and ready to go. Back to Skauki, turn 2, top of round 2. This game is moving on at quite a pace, as I think we would expect out of a game composed entirely of White Scars and Tyranid Flyers. Expected to go pretty quickly, and we are not being disappointed, so I am super excited. Yeah, I think the Harridan's going to be interesting this game. I think one thing that I've mentioned a couple times is the difficulty in scoring the Scouring. It is a tough mission to get ahead on, given that you do have to hold 2 objectives at least to score any primary points. And the biggest downside of the Harridan is that being an aircraft, it cannot hold objectives. So it you get to a point in the game where a lot of your points are sunk into the Harridan, and it can't compete on the mission. It's entirely an attrition piece. So you essentially have to hope that your Harridan is able to kill your opponent's army, and if it can't, you're in some trouble. So we'll see how it ends up doing. I think it is well suited to taking out a lot of these Space Marine veteran units, but I'll be curious to see if it's going to be able to deal enough damage. Let's send you back to the players' mics here quickly, chat. Looks like Skauki just contemplating his round 2 movements. I think the name of the game has to be to put pressure on this Tyranid list. You can't exactly hide from the Harridan. It will get you. So it looks like what we're going to be aiming to do is push Vanguard veterans to objectives 4 and 5. I imagine we pull this unit on 5, this one-man unit, back to hang out with the Apothecary. Now, there was a lieutenant back here. Where did he go?
Okay, and then the Apothecary himself will advance.
It looks like the Apothecary is chasing that unit, so it looks like we're not going to be moving this unit back to be repaired. Wonder if we dropped the Reaver Lieutenant into the Phobos Deep Strike. Maybe that's what we did. So while Skauki contemplates his final moves, I'm going to go ahead and set up our next giveaway, or our first giveaway of the day. Chat, what should we give away? I got a bunch of Space Marines. I think we have Space Marines on the table, so that's appropriate. And given that we're seeing some Phobos stuff, let's look at my box of giveaways here. Given that we're seeing some Phobos stuff on the table, I have some Scout Marines I think we can give away. So I have a box of Space Marine Scouts, as well as a Primaris Librarian that we're going to be giving away today. So let me just put that into the bot, and people will be able to give tickets to it.
Yeah.
Right,
There you go.
Cool.
All right, let's see if that worked. Yeah, giveaway. So exclamation point giveaway in the chat. Giveaway is not US only. You can enter anywhere you want, and I will send it to you.
Cool.
My lieutenant.
So as we learned earlier this week, you can accumulate points to get tickets on Twitch. If you're on YouTube, come over and hang out on Twitch. Twitch.tv/TacticalTortoiseTV is where we are live, and that will give you access to the giveaway. You accumulate points by watching and also subscribing and doing that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool, and subscribers are a little bit more likely to win. They get their tickets count extra. But yeah, it looks like people are getting in buying tickets, so cool. Welcome to the giveaway, everybody. We're going to be giving away a couple cool things today and over the weekend.
Okay. Then we have shooting. I guess I'll start with the random stuff. I'll do these attack bikes and these sky slashes.
Yeah.
Melted.
Thanks for the follows, everybody. Appreciate it.
Freeze. 2. 2 wounds.
Just your damage.
Yep.
So it looks like we did end up bringing in an attack bike unit.
Enough to kill it.
Alright,
Woo.
so I lose 1. Which one do I want to lose? Have you got any other shots? Like,
I've got some bulk up bikes as well.
so,
Chat, the giveaway is available on
from
Twitch.
the oh, yeah,
If you're on Twitch, you can accumulate points to do it. Unfortunately, it's incompatible with YouTube. So if you're on YouTube, then come over to Twitch, and then you can enter.
That will be 7 wounds
Actually,
and
remove
minus
that
1.
one. 7 minus 1, so 6s. They're dead.
So looks like some shots into the
Oh, there we go.
into the Sky Slashers from the attack bikes. Pulled them off the table. Not too surprising, but they are a good screen on turn 1. I am
And then
surprised
we have the
that
Enforced
Skauki elected to bring these
the
attack
Interceptor.
bikes in. Maybe he's trying to coax the Harridan into a position
Yeah.
where he can pounce a lot of units
in
on
the
it.
Rainbow Dice Brigade.
And
Charging. Okay, I'll spend 1 CP to reduce damage take by 1.
but it does mean that they are going to be in a pretty awkward position. So here are the Inceptors shooting into the Tyranid Warriors. 5 Inceptors going in. We did use an Unyielding Chitin to be -1 to be damaged.
Say purple is the
Let's see how much they do. They are next to the captain, so likelihood of killing themselves on the
There's
overcharge
one
is
too
low.
many. It's just gone too high. You did have the right amount.
Should be
should be
30,
30.
right? Yeah, I think we're good.
Yeah, but it's not counting the ones on the top.
Oh, weird.
Oh, is it not? Okay. Cool. I was wondering.
Yeah, I looked at it. It's definitely.
Ah,
6.
there we are. Okay.
All right, here we
purple
go.
will be the sergeant,
Big money. Let's watch this roll.
dude.
That's a lot of ones. Hopefully the rerolls are good. And they are! No overcharges. Only 2 2s miss. Amazing shot. Everything wounding on 2s here.
That many at minus.
Looks like we are rerolling from the
Okay,
Reaver
so I should
Lieutenant.
take-
4, I believe.
Yeah, just to go straight through. I just got feeling the pains. So
18, so we're going to kill 6 warriors off this front unit with those Inceptor attacks. Now, this being... I clarified with Chris during the break, this red unit is the unit with enhanced resistance, so this is the one that Skauki wants to take out as quickly as possible because they are going to be able to
and then charge
to
phase,
save through a lot of those lightning claw attacks as long as they're not within...
Okay.
they're not inside Assault Doctrine. Now, Assault Doctrine is about to turn on for this White Scars army, so that enhanced resistance will very quickly not do anything.
So you've got
But it did make them a little bit tougher to kill early. So here we are. We're seeing the charge for the Incursors into the Spore Mines. We're going to eat a couple mortal wounds for our trouble, but all we have to do is grab this objective.
4 models, and
Get
then
off me.
Yep, and that will...
make sure that's like 3 here,
Clear
but
that
I'll
one.
make
Yep.
4 mines so you can't do anything weird with it.
That will
I guess I probably shouldn't.
give it to the Space Marines.
I didn't
Yeah.
know. I didn't know if there was a choice in it. I was like, oh,
No,
you know,
no, no.
I'll put it there just to stop it doing any piling.
Is that solar charges, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
And nothing else
Make sure
charging
this
in
guy's
for
out
the
free.
White Scars. So we're playing a little
Yeah,
bit
just wanna
passively
remember
this
that
turn,
there's
but I
nothing.
think that makes a ton of sense. These models are relatively well protected,
so-
especially against the Warrior Charge. The Warriors aren't going to really hurt them too much, even if they did get into melee. And being able to knock Chris off of Objective 1 means that he will not be scoring primary on his coming turn. It also means that the White Scars will score domination this round because they do have 3 objectives held at the end of the turn.
1 mana.
Yep.
I'll get my scan over the other side.
Yep.
Oh, that's not.
And that puts White Scars
And no primary.
solidly in the lead of this game. So
right click.
we're really going to have to see... I think this Harridan has to go in and really toilet bowl this game around itself, essentially.
Okay.
What we need to see from Chris here is to send this big bug in, basically shoot like 1 to 2 units of Vanguard veterans to death, to sink in and start to just slow down as much of this army as possible. Chris is in danger. While the Harridan can do a bunch of damage, and the White Scars army, as long as it can kill the stuff that can kill it, the Harridan can essentially victory lap around the table for a while and not really be in danger. But that said, we are potentially getting to a situation where it will not be able to sort of pull him back on the victory point deficit. So, and especially if we start losing these Tyranid warrior units, it could go very poorly for it. Obviously I'm also a Tyranid player, and I played a bunch of games with the Harridan when the IAC came out. And unfortunately, the weakness I found of it was that that primary objective issue, where scoring primaries was so difficult for this army that you are really relying on your warriors or your termagants to do it. And unfortunately, it's usually not enough. You need some more presence on the table. You need some big monsters to be able to take table space and to get to your opponent's backlines. And the Harridan can do that, but it doesn't actually score, so that's unfortunate. I do like the inclusion of the Maleceptor for that reason, though, because the Maleceptor can hold objectives. It is very difficult to kill. And especially once your opponent has dumped all of their firepower into the Harridan, killing the Maleceptor is a really tough ask. But we'll see how it works out for Chris. I am worried that he's a little bit behind on attrition here, because the White Scars were able to deal so much damage that turn without really making themselves, or putting themselves into danger. So it looks like we may be angling for a hover mode move from the Harridan to get in, use its guns, potentially kill these attack bikes, then charge in and start eating some Vanguard veterans.
Yeah,
Where I
fine,
can go.
no problem.
Okay. So I can see around the back of there is what I'm with a 20-inch move is what I'm
Yep, that's
with my big ass model.
Yep.
So I will just bring him.
Now, what we may be angling to do is have the
just go like
angle the
16
shots into
Rotate him, I think.
the attack bikes to wipe them out, and then charge the
And
incursors.
that's gotta go.
Its stat line is really good at killing incursors, and that means that we
see over
can
here.
sink the ranged attacks of this Tyranid army into the Vanguard veterans, which are going to be the real threat next turn. So this is a good follow-up move from Chris.
We're hovering.
And we are hovering this turn, so we can charge.
What do I need to do?
So, chat, we may see here, if this Harridan is able to kill the remainder of these incursors, and we might see an exocrine shot piled into them, or maybe some smites from the psychers, to make sure that these incursors are down to an easily manageable number. But we may see the Harridan actually charge them and just literally send itself off the table. If Chris isn't going to try to use it to physically body block these Vanguard veterans, which he might, he can protect it by strategic reserving it. That said, I think that all Chris wants to do is have his opponent's army attack this Harridan as much as possible, because like we mentioned, the Harridan doesn't control objectives, right? So if the Harridan eats the damage for your army instead of the stuff that can hold objectives, you're going to be in a pretty good position. Also, interestingly, we have no objective secured on Objective 5. I almost wonder if we might see a... I don't believe that there's a Rights of War here, is there? Oh, there is a Rights of War. Just kidding. The Reaver Lieutenant is rightsing the everything on Objective 5. So we can't use a Metabolic Overdrive or some chicanery to get models to Objective 5 to take it. So we could... There is no objective secured standing on Objective 4, so we could see something run over there, but I kind of doubt it. I wonder if these warriors could get far enough, because it's not physically body blocked. You could put a warrior here and take it away.
Yeah, so
That would be an interesting move, but it might be a little bit too aggressive. We'll see what Chris decides to do. Redna with the subscription. Appreciate it, Redna. I really appreciate the support, everybody. Helps us continue this coverage of this competitive events.
Alright, so exocrine currently. And you have to be able to target the person who's in range, right? You have to be able to. So I can't be in range of this guy and shoot him.
Yeah, I think so. I never remember how they do it with that, because I know last
Trevi, do you,
everyone argued about it.
do you know that exactly?
What's the
So I haven't
question?
looked. Do you have to be? So, for example, this exocrine is in range of this guy here, but you can see this guy.
You
Can
have
shoot
to
that spot?
you have to drop both range and line of sight to the same model.
I thought so.
Yeah.
Let's double check.
Cool.
So he is just going to scoot then.
Yep.
Like so. So your attack bikes can't fit back here still.
Yep.
Oh, he's done like a weird thing. I don't think
That's
they could.
fine.
They couldn't fit in that space.
There's
there, could they?
absolutely no way they can fit
Yeah,
that
yeah.
gap.
Yeah, looks like the Exocrine's just on a collider in the terrain there.
So yeah, they'll be.
But no
they'll be
worries.
there.
We do treat the for the area terrain on tactical tortoise maps. We do treat the
Hard to
vertical
find, just like
faces of area terrain as nothing, basically. Unfortunately, there are occasionally some little tiny colliders you can bump your base up against, but other than that, usually you're okay. Question in chat: can you draw range and line of sight? Do you have to draw the range and line of sight to the same part of a model? No. As long as you always measure range between the
Psychic
closest parts of each model, and you measure line of sight to any part of the model. So if you're drawing range and line of sight, range is closest to closest, line of sight is anywhere to anywhere.
Not psychic action, no,
So you
normal
can have
action.
situations where a model is like,
No idea.
you can see the back edge of a model. Like I could see the edge of the tail of the Harridan, but if I'm measuring to the Harridan, for example, I would measure to its base. So I would measure like this, even if my line of sight went like this, if that makes sense. So if I'm looking to its tail, it would be a longer distance, but if I'm trying to measure to the base, I would measure like that. This is going to be an interesting turn, really. I think we're going
Oh,
to
it's right at the start, isn't it?
we're going to
It's
see
not
the game decided here. Looks like we're moving these warriors
Apparently not.
up aggressively to try to block off movement from the Vanguard veterans. I wonder if we can fill in the warriors.
It's one of those things you should just know, but
I don't know. Actually,
Just having
I
to look up
never
the
thought about
stratagems.
it.
Unfortunately, that's the downside of switching from Necrons to Adeptus Mechanicus then to Tyranids, is that you have 3 books full of
no,
full
you
of
can't.
stratagems you
I
have to.
remember definitely with like
have to
Catans,
use.
they can do Catan powers because it's not listed in the thing.
Oh right, yeah.
So yeah, you definitely can't do actions. So I still think.
Oh, it looks like he may have been trying to strategic scan with the Maleceptor, but that would make it so that the Maleceptor could not cast psychic powers.
But it does.
So I think what probably the plan here is to fill in
This way.
the back edge of this objective with the Sky Slasher swarms. Then we can make it so that the Vanguard veterans can't fly over to touch the objective. They'll have to go through the warriors. Unfortunately, as soon as Assault Doctrine kicks in, I think these Vanguard veterans are going to be very easily able to kill these warriors.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm a little worried about Chris's presence on the primary objective. He's gonna run out of warriors really quickly here, and he doesn't really have anything that can fight them efficiently. He just has to start killing them. So we may see the Hive Guard sunk into this unit and tried to kill it. But again, that leaves all these guys free to run rampant. So we'll see how it goes.
He's not gonna be able to get close anyway. So he'll just be chilling back here for now.
Cool.
Like that. Rhythm. Okay, right, these gargoyles, what are you guys doing?
Those are Sky Slasher swarms.
You should just go from here. I mean, I could put them over there, maybe. Yeah, they're not going to do anything in combat, so... Or are they? Yeah, we'll advance them.
So it looks like sending them to Objective 3. It is interesting that I think the pressure of this Exocrine is forcing the White Scars off of Objective 3, which is going to give Chris a little bit of an out
these
here.
warriors can...
As long as he can hold on to one of his home objectives and the center objective, he's going to be in a pretty decent position to be able to score points. Looks like he's also going to be trying to keep this Maleceptor alive. The Warriors will probably strategic scan the center.
Right there. Actually, stay on the... Take the cover save still, why not?
Yep.
And they'll try and do the scan.
Cool.
The Harridans there, they've moved, no gaps anywhere. Okay, Psychic. Storm first. That's an easy one. Storm goes off.
Yep.
Put on the hard card, which needs to do maximum.
Yep.
Stacker, and then I'll Catalyst. Oh no, I need to do the same one. He has Storm, so Smite into the Inceptors.
Yep.
Goes off, and they take 3.
Hey, so we kill an Inceptor with the Maliceptor Smite.
I guess.
And then Catalyst from the Neuro will go on. Well, I'll cast it first, see if it goes off. Yeah, it goes off, and oh, who's gonna take it here? If my plan works, I don't know. I put it on this warrior blob over here, I think.
Cool.
Put that little thing. So, okay, shooting. Spend the CP on the X-Queen for him to stand still.
Yep.
He'll do his. What have I actually got here? Yeah, so his first volley into these Incurses.
Yep.
Ones. And freeze. Okay, so that many. AP3.
So Execute into the Cursors kills 2 with its first shot. That opens its second shot.
And then
to be able
next
to
volley, I'll
hit
put
them as
into
well.
those Vanguard vets at the back.
It looks like we did just move into get line of sight to the Vanguard veterans.
Ones. Freeze.
4
Okay,
hits
so 3 saves.
into 3 wounds.
4 up.
Saving on a 4-up kills only one
Which
Vanguard
kills one.
veteran.
And 1
Oh yeah, 6 up, feeling no pain.
So 6 up.
The invulnerable saves from these Storm Shields are holding strong so far.
Okay. Right. Oh, this is awkward. Slightly awkward. I needed 1 more CP, but deal with it. Right, so we'll start with these Hive Guard.
Yep.
And they'll put all their shots into these 4 Vanguard vets.
Yep.
So no second shot into the Incursors means we're definitely hoping
Captain,
that
is
the
the Captain
Harridan can
got...
kill them with its
What's he got?
with its
What would you
melee
mean?
attacks.
Has he got a Storm Shield? No, he's
Yeah,
not. He's just got... Oh yeah, he's
has.
got a Storm Shield as well.
Yeah, I can't get a model for it.
Okay. And you've got no obstac over here at the minute, right?
No, it's all obstac because
Oh, it's you've got the lieutenant
giving
guy giving you. Okay.
that good old
So
rights
these,
of war.
so he's not getting obstac, it's just these, right?
He's not getting obstac. How many vets? The Inceptors.
Okay. I just need to kill Vanguard vets. Are they dangerous or are they more dangerous? I do not know. Just definitely last turn really didn't go too well with the killing of these, but I need to kill them. So I guess if I need to shoot over there, the Harridan could maybe. So I'll start over this way. We'll just put. There's one that's lost a wound, haven't they? So we'll put 12 shots into these guys first.
Yep.
Apologies, everybody. Gonna try
Alright,
to
so
fix my
freeze,
notification
roll
settings
ones.
here so we don't get any pop-ups on the screen.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen the wound yet though. Okay, there we go.
Much. 4 up.
Alright, so first guy
7,
dies.
Yep.
These aren't in the Apothecary range, are they?
No, they aren't. Dead.
So it looks like
One's
we are
dead.
crushing through a unit of
so
Vanguard veterans with
3
this
dead?
Hive Guard
Dead
shot.
Total.
Okay, so 5
4
dead.
Okay,
Hot damn. Goodbye, Vanguard veterans. That is the round of shooting that we needed out of these Tyranids in order to
Okay,
keep their objectives safe on this bottom side of the table. If we can take a double tap with single-minded annihilation, and kill a second one of these Vanguard units, we'll be, I think, in a pretty good position on the Tyranid side. But
okay.
we absolutely
so
have
Harridan
to
will
see
then
these
put 1
Space Marines get
gun
killed as quickly as
into
possible.
The Inceptors, definitely.
Yep.
And the other...
So a shot into the Inceptors. I wonder if we see a transhuman against
I
this.
don't want to slime him. Yeah, I'll put the other into these 4-man Vanguard vet unit over here.
Cool. I will transhuman the end.
Yeah.
So there's the transhuman. Nothing going
So I'll
into
do
the
this
attack
first.
bikes, interestingly. Oh no, a
Okay.
terrible hit roll from this shot.
2 wounds.
2 wounds.
Ugh.
Okay,
Dead.
kills 2.
Does kill 2 Inceptors, so 3 down out of the unit of 5. That does neuter their damage output quite a bit.
Joy. And then the other gun.
But that is the downside of the Harridan. Unfortunately, no dice fixing on its attacks means that it can very
that one out, there you
often
go. And then
whiff on its
2s.
ranged guns.
So 5.
And being a 700-point brick in your army can go south pretty quickly. Oof.
And then we'll
Not
spend
the round
TCP
of
to fire
shooting
the Hive
that
God
we
again.
wanted to see out of this
Take them
Harridan.
out.
Unfortunately,
Shooting.
those invulnerable
Oh no, I
saves
got the Biovores, sorry.
keeping these guys safe.
Yep.
So Biovores. Can I bring him on the edge?
Why don't they
One shot into
die?
Vanguard veteran, and actually, we'll just shoot both into his Vanguard veteran because I might kill him. That could be useful. So yeah, 1 hit, which does just a mortal wound, and then I get 1 mine.
Yep, that's into
This Vanguard
this,
vet here.
this dude.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
nice. Yep, cool.
And I need to shoot this guy here.
Xeno spotted.
Actually, I might as well put him over this way somewhere, I think. Yeah, I actually need to be within 6 of here. So yeah, that's 1 line there. Yeah, and then the Hive God shooting again. So they'll go ahead and Puff carries over here. It's just not interesting shooting into him. These guys are
Not going into the Vanguard veterans. on
alright.
objective 4.
So we'll do.
We are still transhumaned on the Inceptors. Looks like we may be angling for a charge on these Vanguard veterans. I'm not sure that that gets you too much, given that they can still fall back and charge, being White Scars.
Bring a guy back. I will.
It is an interesting arithmetic when you're shooting into a unit protected by the Apothecary. Given that we've already killed 1 Vanguard veteran out of this unit, the Apothecary is already going to be able to regenerate a model. So trying to play to not regenerate, or to limit the amount of combat revivals the Apothecary can do, it doesn't always work. As soon as he already has a target for it, you might as well just start sinking models or shots into that side of the table in order to try to kill as many as possible. We did knock a second Vanguard unit out of this guy. That does open up these characters to be hit, interestingly, but they, unfortunately, we don't have any more shots to go into them.
Two is a hit. And 2s. Okay, it's not many.
Ooh. Big money. We got 3 through
First one dead.
onto this unit on objective 4. Looks like we're going to be killing 2, probably.
2 dead.
2 dead. And you've got how many in this squad? This is a full 5-man squad, isn't it?
Yep.
I haven't used a CP. I'll keep it. So 2 dead, 3 dead,
3 dead.
and 1 a wound.
All right. Pretty decent attack there.
Yeah!
Alright, charges then. The Harridans going into these places.
Yep. Good thing,
can I make
thing
that?
he's in,
Yeah.
in
Holy
not
shit.
fail distance.
Only a 3 in the Harridan's charge.
And alright, so interesting. What do I want to charge over here? I charge into this guy. 7.
Now, the scary part here is whether we want to spend one of our last 2 remaining CP to reroll our wound rolls on the Harridan, because we could potentially transhuman these incursors, and the likelihood of them getting killed by the Harridan is low. Maybe we charge in the Tyranid warriors, try to finish them off with just a volume of sighting talent attacks. But it's a little awkward.
Actual good stuff that can kill Vanguard vets in this.
Not sure if I like the charge in here, especially if you open yourself up to a lot of heroic interventions. It doesn't really slow these models down, and it just gives them free attacks on you.
And he'll just... Wait, hold on. Do I need to roll a 7 anyway? I'm gonna have to roll a 7 anyway, right? So I might as well just declare both these and these.
Alright, looks like we're going in. Nope, they fail.
Nope.
That will not do.
I think that's important though, so I'll see if you reroll it.
Rip.
Yep. Yeah, it was exactly the same. So,
CP reroll even failed as well. Oh boy.
Okay, so
Well, there
Harridan.
you go.
Yep.
Alright, Harridan swinging into the Incursors. Elected not to charge in those Tyranid warriors. Looks like we're hitting 3 times.
Twos. Oh, please don't do this.
Winning on 2s, wins every time.
Not many AP3s.
He's only AP3. Okay.
Saving on 6s. Oh, 1 saves!
So bad.
Rip. I think that's okay. So unfortunately, that means that the Harridan will sit on the table. I think Barb was hoping to give him a voracious appetite to reroll those wound rolls and try to convert 100% into these Incursors and then push them off the table. I think it's okay that the Harridan's on the table. Like we mentioned before, all Chris wants to do is put the...
Paladin.
Two models.
So there, okay.
all Chris wants to do is have Skauki's army attack this Harridan and put as much damage as possible. You sort of have it soak as much damage as possible before it goes down. So I actually think putting it off the table may have been a mistake if he was able to do it.
Okay, it doesn't.
Looks like the Incursor swinging back a
Not
little
a
flub
huge
there.
shock.
And that is going to be it for
Okay,
Tyranid
That hurt.
round
There's
2.
quite a lot of stuff dead, but
But Skauki's still commandingly
You
in
got
the
White
lead
Scars
with hold of 2 objectives.
I've got 3, so,
Tyranid's
you
not
go.
quite able to push through hard enough to contest them. And that's going to, I think, start to snowball into White Scar's lead here. Tyranids did a lot of damage that turn. We killed 10 Vanguard veterans, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Vanguard veterans were killed that turn. But probably not enough. As well as 3 Inceptors. So 10 jump pack models, I guess. But we'll see how they're able to do. Now the question is whether we've contained the captain on the bike well enough. Now we are round 3, so we're going to be assault doctrine for these White Scars units. We can send the lieutenant and the Vanguard veterans into the Tyranid warriors. There's no interrupt being represented on the Tyranid side, so they can start chopping those guys up. The captain, unfortunately, is in sort of a bad position to engage since he doesn't have the cool Ghost Rider bike that can go up and down walls. And these walls are pretty big. I don't think he has the movement. Although, moving 20, he actually may be able to just go over the over the terrain, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But the warriors may be physically body blocking that. I wonder if that's one of the things that Chris was trying to stop. I think he would have sunk a heroic intervention in, though. I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is where a White Scars army absolutely turns on. Most of the time, the game plan of White Scars is to survive until round 3, until your whole army doubles its damage. And that we have we have done it so far. So I think there's a non-zero chance that we could just see these Tyranid warriors get killed.
yeah.
And that would be pretty bad for the Tyranid army. Or at least killed down to the point that the White Scars with Rights of War can take that objective away, and that's going to be difficult to come back from. If you're sinking Tyranids down to 0 on primary for a... What's going on over here?
No, I did them. Yeah. Cool.
Oh, the Incursors.
Oh yes, of course. He lost 4. He's good.
Okay, we moved those guys. I was about to remind the players about their coherency. It is not a legal move from that unit. So it looks like we're going to be aiming the infiltrators at objective 3. We only need 4 models on the objective to take it from your opponent, and that will give you an easy domination. And it looks
gonna
like we
take
may
next
be
roll of bombs.
re-angling into the center of the table. Instead of pushing for the warriors on
Rolls.
objective 2, maybe going into the Maliceptor. I'm a little worried about this. This sort of opens you up to getting hit by the entire Tyranid army. Although I guess anywhere you go, you're going to be attacked by them. I think I would have liked to have seen the Space Marines try to clear off this objective, because that does force this Exocrine to come forward, which limits the amount of shooting it can do and opens it up for potentially attack bikes to get to hit next turn. We also, I think importantly, have all of our attack bikes remaining in this unit. I'm surprised that the Harridan didn't go for them, since they represent such an immense amount of damage against the big monsters. So I think what we see here is attack bikes probably placed in this area to get
That one in
shots
case,
into the
we advance.
Maliceptor, and then we have a big move on these guys into Objective 3 to hit the Maliceptor. And that Maliceptor does have a 4+ invulnerable save to protect it from those Melta, but only Toughness 7 means that the Strength 8 shots are going to be going through pretty reliably, so you're forcing a lot of those invulnerable saves. But it looks like the stuff on Objective
Somewhere in the
3 should be able to clear
range
out these remaining warriors to stop their strategic scan and give that objective to the White Scars.
My Reaver Lieutenant will advance 2.
I wonder if part of this decision is instructed by the fact that the captain wouldn't be able to commit into the Tyranid warriors, since his captain hits so incredibly
Steve
hard
will
against that
advance.
unit.
He'll to advance 6.
Swinging, 7 or 8 3-flat damage attacks means that as long as their catalyst doesn't go off and save a bunch of attacks, the captain can clear out most of that unit in one go, which is brutal. As soon as that guy gets in there.
I guess throw a frag grenade there.
It also looks like angling an advance off the attack bikes, potentially into Objective 3. We're just going to dogpile into the middle. I almost think that even more so, more than the the Harridan, the Exocrine may be one of the most dangerous models in the Tyranid army right now, just because the Exocrine is relatively well positioned and can shoot everything into on Objective 3. We have to just put enough Space Marines there that the Tyranid shooting can't deal with it, and that's going to be a little bit rough. This game's gonna. I think the White Scars are definitely in the driver's seat this game, but I think it may end up being close. Chat. I'm so excited for the rest of this matchup. Holy crap.
I'll advance 4-man unit Vanguard event. 6. If you go to 7, you've got +1.
Nothing in reserve for Tyranids, chat.
So this dude may.
We are all on the table.
From the little orange.
And then only 3 additional attack bikes in reserve for the White Scars. Looks like very cleverly aiming just for the objective secured on this objective. The Incursor is holding it right now, or will hold it as soon as these warriors get cleared off by the Vanguard veterans.
2.
And I'm not sure we quite have enough shooting to deal with all this stuff, but it really depends on how off this Harridan's guns go. If we get a bad turn of invulnerable saves, they have been really good on the White Scars part so far this game, and if we get a bad turn of invulnerable saves, that could be curtains for them, I think. So, chat, who do we think is going to be taking down this matchup so far? Looks like Dr. Doots calling it for White Scars on their primary objective. Which I think is fair.
So the Warriors -1 damage thing, that's like anytime, I assume.
Yeah, anytime you shoot them.
Is it just for shooting or combat?
Yeah, it's just shooting.
Okay. These dudes will advance.
Okay.
Looks like chat calling it for the White Scars so far. How much damage can we see this Harridan do, though? That's the real question. Yeah, honestly, I'm surprised we saw the banners pick on the Tyranids side.
Really a whole lot of places
This is kind
to do.
of... Scouring is a low-scoring mission for banners. I like Engage on all fronts for this Tyranids army. It's very well suited for that, and I'm surprised that we saw that over... Or we saw banners over Engage on all fronts. Given that you have this Harridan that can just jump around to whatever table quarter you need it to be in, you have 2 units of Sky Slasher Swarms to do the same thing. It seems to me like you could be scoring Engage pretty quickly.
Okay, so we will do some shooting. I'll spend 1 CP to turn the attack bikes weapon into assault weapons.
Okay,
they'll shoot
going
their
down to
bolt
0.
guns at this random wall mine down here. Actually, no. First of all, we'll do the company bets. They'll throw a frag grenade into the wall mine.
Yeah.
4 shots.
I mean, they should definitely kill it.
Got Spore Mine. Get
Just
out
do
of
the
here.
2s.
Just
Yeah, oh, he's
one,
dead.
there you go.
Just
we got
about.
it. nice frag grenade throw from the company bets. And then we'll do the attack bikes, and they will put everything into the exocrine.
I almost want to see a bunch of bolt gun shots put into this Malice.
It's
up there,
T8,
honestly.
isn't it?
No, just 7.
Okay.
No, T8. No, yeah, it's T8. It's the Malus that it's T7.
Multi-melters,
So-
they will hit.
They missed. He's -1
No. Oh, is he -1?
because he's on the dance. Yeah.
Ah, he is. Yes. 4s. Let's check. Don't think it was a 9. Definitely not.
Did we spend a CP this phase? So are we down to 0? Or no?
No. I went up to 2 at the start of the turn, and I've spent 1 to
Okay,
let
you've
them.
only spent 1 that turn so far.
Yep.
Cool. I think that was
so
spent
2
earlier,
wins.
chat. I just didn't see...
He hasn't got an invuln.
I didn't hear the declaration until right now, so...
-4, right? Yeah.
I did see him spend a CP earlier, though.
Do I need to reroll any charges? I shouldn't need to reroll any charges, but it should. The important word there. Yeah, you know what? We'll reroll 1 on. Ooh. For 3 wounds.
Okay, damage.
It does.
Cleanse, purge, kill.
Looks like we're seeing
12.
some cleansing, purging, and killing onto the
Okay.
exocrine. Boom! Just blew it right off the table!
Okay.
This is the start of the shitting phase that the White Scars need, I think. Wow. That's so much damage output of this Tyranid army removed in a single
Xeno
shooting
spot.
attack.
Overcharges
Oh,
the
boy.
Tyranid warriors.
So this looks like Inceptor is going into the Warriors.
10 shots. 3s
Good roll there.
and 3s. You're rolling.
Not an
Eat bolt
overcharge.
gun.
-3.
And that will kill
That's
almost
why
the
we got
entire
6s.
squad.
Someone
Yep.
got Silas 2.
Cool.
I'll probably yes, I'm 2.
Yeah, that makes it easy for the veterans to cut down that last guy. Maybe a little bit of a missed efficiency not shooting the bolt guns at the attack bike somewhere
okay.
else. But I think that's okay.
That's all shooting I care about. So, assaults. I'll start by sending my captain into the
Okay.
Sky Slashers.
Here's the charge phase. Do we have any targets for these attack bikes? I guess everyone's
Okay,
out of
snake.
range. Looks like we're loading the attack bike gun. We're racking a second attack bike unit into the
I
chamber
will
to shoot it off onto Objective 3.
Try to send my lieutenant in there as well. Rolls 9.
Yeah, Chad, I think, honestly, depending on how this game goes, and I mean, the game's certainly not over yet. We're only at bottom of 3, and while the Tyranids will start to, I think, pull significantly behind on primaries, if they are able to get a big turn out this coming turn and do a bunch of damage, they could potentially pull it back. I'm not going to say the game's over so far, but I think we are seeing some of the downsides of the Harridan list, and the reason that I stopped playing it is that it doesn't play for primaries at all. You can't play it on primaries, and it's so much of your army in a single shooting activation that you have to split fire with it in order to try to efficiently get attacks, and if it ever flubs on one attack, you can lose so much damage output. So, folks in chat pointing out sort of 2 of the big weaknesses of the Harridan, which I think we're seeing made manifest this game.
Do they need to? Actually, are they within 3 of them? They are. Actually, they'll stay where they are then.
No one's within an inch of the Harridan, chat.
My insect
Or 1.7 away.
These guys' launchers. There we go. Okay. Over here, we'll do the...
I don't think, in fairness, I don't think that's a weakness of the Tyranid big bugs. I think that's just the weakness of specifically the Harridan. The other big bugs can hold objectives. They can... they're, not 700 points. So if you want to play Hyrule or Demacarons or all that stuff, I think that stuff's fine. And I think the Harridan is not a bad model. I think it's mostly spice, though. I don't know if it's super competitive. It was interesting to see Chris audible into this list in this game. I think a lot of lists in the Invitational, folks just hoping to to show off some memes on camera, which I think is awesome.
Okay.
But maybe not the most competitive option. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll have a running tally for how many points the Harridan kills, I guess.
The 4-man unit of Vanguard Vets. They have not got sergeants. They will have 16 attack.
Do I think Harpies or Hive Crones have any place? Not particularly. I don't think they do anything that Tyranids really need, and they're kind of pricey for not very good profiles.
Blood for the Blood God!
2 damage.
These guys over here.
Dr. Dude's on point with these soundboards.
Into them, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
If anybody else wants to use the soundboard, come over to Twitch. Twitch.tv/TacticalTortoiseTV. You can play all of the noises you want.
And then this dude consolidate. No, get onto the objective. And then these dudes will activate.
Ooh, didn't quite kill the warriors with the first Vanguard veteran activation. About to clear off the second unit of warriors. Let's see if we can get through. This is going to be an important one.
And 4's rerolling.
Oh! All right, 4 wounds.
4
that
more.
should clear.
Ah,
Yeah, kills them exactly.
just kills them.
We did have an incursor on that unit, so it was being taken away from the Tyranids. Unfortunately, I think they were strategic scanning, though.
Okay, next I will
So if that unit had survived, they would have completed a strategic scan for 3 points.
3 attack bikes into this Tyranid warrior.
Okay.
Gargan, 2
attacks.
points. 2,000 channel points to
Being on 3 wins.
to burn on
on
soundboards.
4 rerolling
Amazing.
ones.
Just everyone's saving up their soundboards for quarterfinals games. I love it.
Die, scum!
All right, sounds like the soundboard's gonna be lit up here in share chat.
Next one, end up with
Bakusha had a question. Why isn't Corsaro-Khan in the White Scars
I'll
list?
activate my
I was actually speaking to Skarky about the list, that before the game started. He mentioned that while Corsaro-Khan would have been sweet in this mission so he could get through the toughness 8 monsters, unfortunately,
We stand ready.
he doesn't keep up with the Vanguard veterans well enough. They can move, up to 18 inches plus a charge every turn, and that dude's stuck at move 6. So unless he's in an impulsor, which is a big ask, he's not gonna be able to present his or to project his aura onto most of the army. Unfortunately, so it looks like the Sky Slashers are down. The Maliceptor getting engaged. You really want to, against this Maliceptor, you want to not base him with the characters. Although it looks like he doesn't know Psychic Scream, so he's not going to be able to kill the characters. Maybe we see its overload pulse happen this game. Yeah! That'd be pretty sick.
Okay.
Yeah!
How many yas do we have stacked up in the
He will
in the countdown right now, chat?
put his attacks into these interceptors.
Yep.
Yeah!
Got 3. Yeah, 3. Alright. So 4.
Yeah!
Oh, why they fuck me? That's so annoying. I roll 3 dice, and yep, and then I get 2 misses. Of course, and a freeze. Okay, so it's AP, quite a bit. 3.
Okay, 1 dice.
Damage is no, just 2.
Just 2. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, Maleceptor only hits for D6, so it
I'll
looks
try
like
and
we're
throw it
gonna
back really
leave
quick. I've got 2
one
minutes.
Yeah, that's
Inceptor
fine.
alive. Could casually implant attack that guy. Although I'm interested as to why we didn't go into the lieutenants with the Maleceptor. That would have pulled the Rites of War aura off. If we were able to kill it. The Maleceptor does have a pretty good stat line for kill like random characters. So maybe you can get 2 wounds through, which is not unheard of. Looks like Chris just taking a break here. Guess we can hang out. You got me to hang out with chat as we're waiting for the players to get back going. Seems like a pretty good turn so far for the White Scars, huh?
Yeah, this rap here is a pretty big deal because he's killing my army pretty goddamn quickly.
Look out though. He's gonna overload.
I know
pulse on
he's
your
got
entire
his
army.
overload thing, and
Look
he's gonna
out.
do what, like a mortal wound
One
to
mortal
every
wounds
unit.
everything. Look out.
Oh,
He left that
He could do
Inceptor on
3,
1.
right?
He could kill it.
he's welcome to. I set up. I'm happy with where I am at the
Yeah.
moment. I think. I'm kind of glad I went first because if I went second, I'd be sitting here for another turn. Before we got
I'm
to
back.
this stage.
Welcome
Cool.
back.
I will...
Yeah, this is not looking good. The dice are not going my way at all.
No. Okay, that is my turn done. I'll pass turn to you.
Thanks.
Give my 3 for that.
All right. I wonder if chat's hoping for an overload pulse off this Maleceptor. Chris, can you give us the psychic overload?
You guys want it?
Gonna get it.
I don't
think
need I don't need the Symbio Storm, so. Oh no! Actually, he's got the I changed it. He's got the thing on this one.
All right, I'll leave you to it.
All right.
All right, we are back to the gameplay chat. Looks like we're just getting into bottom round 3. Unfortunately, Tyranids still knocked off their objectives, only holding the 1. So no primaries remaining for the Tyranids.
I mean, maybe it's worth it. Right. Okay, so this guy is your Obsec Bubble dude, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think this list was maybe too spicy for its own good. It it had to drink some milk and fan out its mouth because it was too busy doing that rather than holding primary objectives. I do think Tyranids are probably pretty okay in this matchup. White Scars do kind of have their number in a couple different ways, but as we're seeing, Tyranids have excellent profiles to kill White Scar stuff. You know, Hiveguard can shoot through Vanguard can shoot, shoot through Vanguard veterans. I had it right the first time. Can shoot through Vanguard veterans with the best of them. Winning on 2s, no access to Transhuman, bumps directly up against their invulnerable save and has a pretty good chance of killing them every hit that goes through. I almost wonder if we could have seen a double Hiveguard build out of Chris that just tries to hold down objectives 1 and 2. The lists were live, or the missions were live when lists were created, so the players could formulate a plan around the quarterfinals matchup and try to build around that. And I wonder, I think a double Hiveguard build would have been really good in this situation. That just puts a lot of beef on those 2 objectives and tries to hold down those 5 primary points a turn and kill as much of the opponent's army as possible as it comes into them. I actually really like Tyranids on the Scouring typically, at least on this Scouring map, because it has these really good L's, which are great for Tyranids. I'm not sure if the Harridan build is the right way to go, but it is cool to see it. And we do have a lot of spicy lists coming up for you for the rest of the day, chat. We got Tesseract Vaults coming. We got Hecaton Iacos ready to go. There's some Wolfen in this tournament even. It's wild. It's wild stuff over here in the quarterfinals of the T5S2 Invitational.
But, you know... What can I do here?
So it looks like, yeah, Chris trying to figure a way out of here. He does have this warrior unit. He's going to try to push onto Objective 5 to deny as many points as possible. If that warrior unit can go in, the Maliceptor, I don't know, can maybe do a bunch of damage. We have a wrap on this Maliceptor, which means that most of the stuff can't get shot.
That would do it. You take me this turn, probably not a lot.
I wonder if we see the Hive Guard try to wipe out the Vanguard veterans on this objective. We do have enough CP for a double tap, then we turn around and we sink the Harridan into the bikers here and try to engage as much as possible. Not that the engagement matters, I guess, but it does stop them from shooting. The Harridan's pretty reasonable at tanking these attack bikes. Even 6 multi-melta shots, it doesn't really care about, given that it's a 5+ invulnerable save. And between the smiting and the Harridan's attacks, you should be able to clear out a lot of this stuff. If the Warriors can get a charge in this Incursor to pull Objective 5, we can knock the banner off. I think we got some play. Not to mention that Hive Guard continuing to shoot your army is not an easy thing to play through.
It's a good plan. No one knows. Hive Guard needs to kill stuff.
Clark in chat lamenting the 6 plane list was not in this event. That was Chris's list going into the group stage. Looks like the Harridan's moving to Objective 4. We may try to be clearing out the second unit of attack bikes. Interestingly. So we can... It looks like we can potentially pull... Well, it might be tough to pull all of the primaries out of the... off the White Scars list.
Yeah. Okay.
This is bottom round 3, chat. Yeah, we're back in the Tyranid turn. I will mention this is a tough one. It's a tough one to discern the game state because we can't see the score on the Tyranid side since they're not scoring primaries this game.
And does 2.
I think one here is more important than the other.
Yeah, and then we'll just go Catalyst on these warriors need to live, so we'll do it on them.
Yep.
Goes off, and then we'll do this Maliceptor will smite, and he will also do it into that Vanguard vet.
Okay, trying to get the smites going. 2
Goes
smites
off.
go off. Oh, doesn't kill the
Just does
Vanguard
one.
veteran though. Oh,
Pulse.
frustrating.
And then he'll Symbiote Storm, which goes off. And actually,
All right, no
Sad
overload
God.
pulse today,
Things
chat.
do stuff.
Would have been cool, but unfortunately, that ability's terrible.
right, looks like the Neuroprobe's gonna.
Why it does? It's such a limited use case. Why it doesn't deal D3 mortal wounds to everything? I don't know.
One attack. One attack.
Yeah.
Hit on a 4. Oh, they'll do it. They'll get the job done.
I played
Right, okay.
many games in 8th
So-
edition with a Maliceptor. I played exactly one where the pulse was any good,
So,
and that was against a Space Wolves
in
list
combat.
with an Eversor Assassin and a
This is
Wolftail
hard.
Talisman. So I was -4 to
Actually,
cast with the
we'll come back.
Maliceptor,
We'll come back.
but it could
We'll do
still
the
pulse
attack
since it does
first.
require a psychic
I need to
test.
do stuff, so we're gonna put.
That was the one time it was useful.
It's
It's a sort of laughably terrible ability. You give out potentially
this
2
is
D3
rough.
mortal wounds for the potential to deal 1 mortal wound to like 4 units, which is just worse.
actually no. I'm gonna put 3. 2 and 1
And 1.
into that.
Yep.
Incursor.
All right. We're getting spicy with the
So we'll do
splits
that
here. We're
one
trying to
from
get
this
lucky
first.
on the Tyranid side. Double
Oh,
ones
come
into the
on.
Incursor, but we re-roll it
Okay,
to
2
2 hits, wounding on 2s. Only
one
one wound,
wound.
though, saving on a 5. And, oh, it goes through.
All right.
Drum roll.
Oh,
Doesn't
come
kill him!
on, man!
Get out of here!
It's
Oh,
just
my God.
horrible.
Unreal.
Hive guard, man.
The 2 into the 4.
Oh, no.
Oh, here we go.
Two Hive Guard going into the 2 Vanguard veterans. We need to
Two
convert
wounds.
100% here. And they make 1 save, so it's only going to kill one of them.
We'll kill 1, and then the 3 into
We stand ready.
those. Oh, okay.
There's
Yeah.
all
Oh,
the sixes.
are you kidding?
There they are.
But are you kidding?
Oh my god, huge roll out of
Oh
the
my
shots into
God,
the
this
center
is
unit.
Ridiculous. Okay. so
Turns
they're
out
dead.
they're dead.
That is ridiculous. I'm
I
trying
mean,
to kill
how else
2.
is it ever going to be? It's always going to be the one you shot everything at, right?
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
That's
Like,
Hive guard for you.
It's the
They've
spikiness
got to
of
be the
Hive
most
Guard.
unreliable unit in the game. They seem great, and then you use them, and it's like
oh
killed
god.
like 3 models this turn.
At least Hive Guard don't have random numbers of attacks. That would be
right,
the only
how
other
it
way to
was,
make
how
them
it
like
is,
less
yeah, so-
less reliable. Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, Hive Guard very much rely on sort of average damage. Like, their damage over the course of the game is generally very high, but it's very spiky given the D3s and it's a bunch of like coin flip rolls essentially. So unfortunately, relying on Hive Guard to do exactly what you need them to on one turn is usually not very good. They're more of an attrition unit, and it can feel kind of bad when you're in this sort of situation. I will say that's a situation that the Harridan puts you in, though, and it not being able to fight over objectives essentially. Poor Harridan.
And then, oh, hold on. Right, let's go on to these biovores. Right, these biovores, are they going to
Yep.
they're going to shoot this and get this guy.
We have a
Yep.
Spore Mine
They're
back
gonna
here
do
too.
it.
Charge
They
him
have
with
not
the Spore
moved,
Mine.
so they're on 4s. We're running 1s now. All right, okay. So there's
There's a
Immortal. Okay, so
Oh,
he
it's
dies.
enough. He dies.
We got him with the
And then I
Biovore.
get 1 mine, which might also be useful. I can put that down here.
That mine was there though, right?
Any of these wounded? No, but they're free.
Was that mine you moved not already there?
Oh, I've got another mine.
Yeah, there was a mine here, right, from last turn?
There you go.
There were 2 down earlier, and the Incursors charged 1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
they-
There was this one that sat here. Yep.
Could have maybe got that Incursor with the melee attack, with the powerful
I won't
2+
move
mortal
those.
wound on the mine.
Bit late,
Ba-ba!
That's fine.
Oh well.
And then, right, Mr. Harridan. So you're gonna do 1 cannon into here. I'd
Harridan,
like to not shoot at these Vanguard vets, but I feel like
Harridan maybe going into the Vanguard. I think we may be trying to knock out the Apothecary with 1 melee attack.
yeah, fuck it. I just put cannon into both.
Okay.
One into them.
I'm excited for the 100% conversion on
Oh,
this
time
Harridan
to
and kill
shine.
both of the Apothecary and the attack bikes.
All right, so Vanguard vets. Decent. Okay.
6 wounds in the Vanguard veterans. Do they save? They
Odds
do!
they die.
There's
They
1
die.
left! Unbelievable!
These are the invincible Vanguard.
Oh no. Just the veteran sergeant survives.
Just odds. I just want odds. Okay,
Oh
that's not odds.
no. And then into the Incursors. Can't quite roll. Oh! A terrible wound roll.
Two,
Only
53.
2 wounds! Kills
Okay,
2 Incursors.
Oh, you've got there's 3 damage each.
Get out of here.
Okay.
And one of them saves off the Apothecary? Are you kidding me? Go back home, Harridan. You're drunk. What are you doing? Unbelievable.
Right, so the Hive Guard, 2 CP.
Gonna double tap.
Right, 1 has to fire here and do a wound. 1 here.
I don't believe it.
Uh,
Okay, we're gonna try for 1 Hive Guard into the
I'm gonna
Vanguard
shoot back into here.
veterans. Try for 2 into the
And
company.
then 3 into these infiltrators.
That's all right.
So
Looks
the
like
one
we're gonna
guy into
split
this one does
these. We're just trying to knock
Two
White Scars
hits.
off their objectives here.
Yep.
Double ones to wound that Vanguard veteran.
Oh my god.
I don't believe it, chat. What is happening? The Hive Guard whiffs on the Vanguard veteran again. Oh my god.
What did I do? 2 into those company vets over there.
Yep.
Okay, 5 hits. 2s. Yeah, so many ones.
3
to wound.
wounds into the company veterans. We have to take these one at a time
shield.
because we have a Storm Shield. And the Storm Shield fails. Does he die? Yes. All right. Well, probably the company veteran's going to go down. 2 5-ups. 2 wounds go through. Kills the sergeant. GG, sir.
And
Get out of here.
infiltrators, that many.
Yeah, Womp Womp's
saves.
in on the soundboard chat for these Tyranids. Oh my god, these dice have been terrible.
Fear not, brothers.
Damage, 3.
One.
Oh,
3. Yeah, 3, 3, and then 2. Just do it in order. So.
Yeah, 3. First one. No, last one. No.
I don't know if it's the Stormtrooper Tyranids as much as these are just unkillable Space
Oh
Marines.
man, this
A lot of
final
it has been
shot
just
is
like
nice.
ridiculous invulnerable saves over and over.
It's
They've
the
just
thing,
rolled
it
1
was
above
like-
average on every single dice roll on these 4+ invulnerable saves.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like we
That's
always
what
say,
really
chat, a
makes
4+ invulnerable save is
plus.
mathematically better than a 3+ invulnerable save.
Maybe I might get 2 in. You never know.
Yeah, you
I
can
can-
get 2 in.
Should have moved in, but oh well. That's that done then. So charges. So the Paradins going into the apothecary and the attack bikes.
All right, Harridan.
Yep.
It's time to
Okay.
reclaim
Having a good time. So just something like that.
your honor. You have to kill all these guys.
Make sure he's not off the edge here. Right. Oh. Okay, just on. And then, all right, let's go for the 8-inch charge.
All right.
Nope. And the other one. Oh, okay, wrong
He
way
makes
around.
it. Yeah, cool.
What? It's just nothing
always,
to go
always,
that way,
always
yeah.
the way, isn't it? I mean, you could roll a 6.
I could roll. Yeah, I could
The,
roll a 6.
the
right?
Spore Mines
Two,
can't
three,
charge
right?
the turn they get placed from by the Biowar. So only the
Can
one
they
on the
not?
back here
Okay.
could charge.
Can they? Can they not? I didn't. Where's that rule?
It's on the Biowar.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I imagine you're right. but
Yeah,
I
it's
just-
the
I
Spore
didn't know
Mine
where it
cannot
was.
move or charge during the turn it was set up.
Okay,
It's in
yeah,
the
that's- I
Spore
thought
Mine
it was
launcher
right.
rule. Yeah.
Thanks. So that fails.
Just the rubbins, I guess, Chad. Could you imagine if the Biowar Spore Mines could charge?
Warriors then,
Oh my god. You did just automatically deals mortal wounds to their opponent on 2+. Could you? Oh my god. That would be amazing.
So you only get the +2 damage when you charge, is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
But you
I
get the
like
+1 attack when you're charged.
Yeah, I'll check all the abilities to see how many it is. So I don't get the D3 extra, but I will still get the extra 3 for Teeth of Terror, so I'll still have 8 attacks on that dude, but they'll only be 2 damage.
You just gotta charge you
so
some
I'm
cruiser.
gonna go ahead and charge
Don't charge into the center. What are you doing?
this
That's
dude over here
Yeah, there you go.
and just the attack bite.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's a wild charge. What's happening? What is the plan here? We're just gonna try to touch. I think the plan is probably to touch every objective with the warriors. Kill the lieutenant with the
understandable.
Maleceptor in melee,
This is ridiculous.
and then hold all the
Not much
objectives.
you can do with that.
If the Harridan can kill everything on objective 4, then we do contest. We do contest all of the White Scars objectives, so they hold 0. Then we just have to hope that they miss every attack the coming turn and score 15. That's the way we get back in this game, chat. If you do want to, if you are trying to win,
I'll see if I kill all these. Well,
win a quarterfinals game in an elimination stage, it would normally put you out. This is how you do it. You just at this point you have to hope that the White Scars attack rolls are as bad as their invulnerable saves have been.
doesn't wound. Yeah.
No
Needed the
plan,
2!
only charge.
Just needed the 2, by the way!
That's all you needed.
They hit. Okay, another 2 1s.
Yeah, it looks like the Warriors have failed
Okay,
their
so
charge.
2 die, but then you just get on back anyway. Yeah, good game, dudes. Good game. That was
no.
ridiculous. That was absolutely ridiculous.
No.
Game.
There's not much you can do with the crucial double 1 charges there. It's like you've done what you can. You set up a pretty good turn there, to be fair. The counter wrap on the captain would have been.
I mean, what I was going to do here is just charge here, get outside of 3, but then
Yeah,
pile
yeah.
in so you can't fall back.
Yeah, exactly, because you can't go through the wall. I
yeah.
see what's going on. But Dice said no. You can have a double 1 charge.
And then I'd have got that's my turn 3, so turn 5.
Yeah, well,
I then get 15 points next turn for the next 2 turns because you're not killing these because he's going to be stuck hitting that.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah, that's so bad.
Yeah, that was painful to watch for sure.
That was so bad.
And that was after the Hive Guard were like, "Hey, let's not wound Vanguard."
Let's roll,
veterans."
yeah. Let's roll a double 1 to wound the Vanguard vet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Vanguard veterans, those Storm Shields certainly paid off, I think, this game as well, because the 4+ invulnerables were just like a little bit too good. It wasn't like super tilting, but it was like a little above average every time.
It was just enough above average that he then has to waste another shooting phase. And then if he split fires, he risks not killing the 2 dudes he left from the first volley, and it's a dangerous game at that point, where you hope that the odds are in your favour, and if they aren't, then there's not much you can do.
Yeah, I just had to my first 2 turns. Like the first turn was horrific, right? They killed what 2?
I think
you
Vanguard
killed with them.
9. I think you killed 4 Vanguard, 5. 4 Vanguard.
And the Harridan killed most of them, but he did these just did in 2 units of 2 rounds of firing killed I think 3.
Yeah, it was like nothing. not what they needed to roll at all.
And then this turn, the second turn was okay. They did alright second turn, but then this turn they've just done nothing again.
It also doesn't help that you end up with a mission where I can literally get to any objective I want with a unit in 1 turn.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, it's tricky because I start on 1 objective and I can end up on any other objective by the end of that turn if I start on one of the objectives, which is always makes it hard.
But I definitely had enough to I should have tabled you by turn 4.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But yeah, it didn't go that way.
Nope.
What are you gonna do, eh?
Exactly. What are you gonna do? Game happens. Trevi, do we need to count up scores? Does that still matter?
No, it's just a win and end, so yeah, you don't have to worry about the score sheet.
Fine.
Yeah. Well, thanks for the game, guys. Skauki, congratulations on making it through.
Thank you. What's next? Admech or Quins, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. That's what else is in there.
I'm a bit worried if it's Quins, because that means my 100% Harlequin win rate is on the line. And I'm more worried about that than going through.
Yeah, and it probably could not be a better Quins player if they do end up getting through. So,
no, exactly. It's so.
Watch out.
I'll be up against it if it's they do get through.
I think Liam has a pretty good track record of playing against people who tell him that they have a 100% win record, and then
and then I suspect it may disappear if Liam gets through.
Yeah.
He's playing Admech, but it's not breaches, and I feel like Harlequin's quite like not playing against breaches.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting.
Most certainly will.
Chris, can you, if you have a moment, can you tell us about this Harridan? What's this Harridan doing in your list?
Against non-invulns, he's actually amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think he killed a lot this game. To be fair, I mean, he's basically there's not a lot of people who can deal with it, right? So you come up against any sort of shooting army, and they go, all right, okay, we'll try and kill the Harridan, and they do no damage because you're just sitting next to the Maliceptor. You give him Catalyst, you go, all right, everything's shooting at him is -1 strength, and he's -1 to hit, right? So on average, without miracle dice, sisters with hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s to hit and wound do 3.4 damage. With a full squad of Retributors, which is amazing. He's just so tanky. Jack played it really well this game, just avoiding him, just ignoring him, right? I think
you have to.
I mean, maybe I could have threw him forward that in my first turn to bait you into bringing in on all your attack bikes and putting everything into him, because he definitely survives it.
Yeah.
But I felt I could get in such a good position that you were shooting Inceptors into Warriors, which I'm okay with because when only doing 1 damage, and that baits them out for the Harridan to kill them. But he rolled 6 1s and 2s to hit.
6 1s and 2s to hit and killed. It's
Yeah, I wish there was a way to give that guy rerolls to hit somehow, even just reroll ones. It's so frustrating because it's such a big unit that just is so dice susceptible, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's 100% what holds Nid's back as a faction. I think if they just had some access to rerolls, they'd be a fantastic.
Well,
faction.
I mean, the rest of the army does, right? It all rerolls once to hit, but
yeah,
the Harridan specifically
true,
does not,
yeah.
which is frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you take 3 Harridans and hover them the entire game.
Yeah, that's
then
only
they
what,
reroll once to hit.
2,100 points,
It's
right?
2,100 points.
You can't even fill it out with hero jewels anymore, can you? Because those heavy
No,
support.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
I
was very caught off guard when I saw this. Because I was like, I saw Tyranids as the pace spin title. I was like, okay, that's fine. I open it up, and the first thing I see is Harridan. I'm like, okay, this is fine. I can't deal with that, but especially if you give it a 5-up pin run and -1 strength.
Yeah, I think the worst part is also that it has Iron Hand's bracketing rule, so it doubles its points for bracketing with the symbiosis.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that,
you have to do
I'd
like
have considered
25
shooting
damage to bracket it.
Yeah.
It's so tough. Yeah.
If it didn't have that and you moved it up turn 1, I'd have considered bringing on attack bites to shoot it. But without
the issue I had as well is you'd have put something into like assault doctrine or something, charged them in. I was comfortable taking the shooting, but then not when you can charge in with 20 Vanguard vets at the same time as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have done. I mean, you do that.
Yeah, I mean,
and you're out in the middle, but you're in a good position then, and I'm not shifting that much.
Well,
without him.
And then if I get lucky and down the Harridan, it really puts you on the back foot.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, because
you've got to have him all turns to actually get what you need to get out of him, which you can definitely do with 34 wound T8 and a 5-up pin fun.
Yeah, I almost wonder because the Harridan itself is so terrible at playing for objectives, right? It can't hold objectives, and it just runs around and tries to kill stuff on top of them, and that's all it does. I almost wonder if maybe trying to sink as much, or getting White Scars to sink as much damage into it as possible is the direction to go, because it's basically like 30 wounds that are not being applied to your warriors over the course.
Yeah,
of the
but
game.
I was the issue was it was just free stuff because he wasn't hitting anything with the Vanguard vets anyway.
Right.
Whereas I put him, he's just getting a free round of fighting when I didn't need to.
In fairness, it also then opens them up to get hit by the smites and the exocrine, though. So it's not like 100%.
It does.
And you get to hit them with the Harridan, and I don't know. Maybe it could have been okay. Not that the Harridan does much damage to those guys, unfortunately. Just only 5 attacks is rough.
Yeah, I just needed that CP to reroll wounds. But then I rolled 2 2s to hit, so that's how that goes. That goes. Just anything but a 2, and then anything but a 1.
It feels like it's the case with most of the Nid book. It's like, just don't roll 1s, and it's fine.
Yeah, if only you could get it in. If you could give it. It's sort of bizarre that Super Heavy Auxiliaries don't give you sub-faction abilities, because if you could give it +1 to hit in melee, that'd be pretty okay. I think it'd be.
Oh man, there'd be so many more viable units.
I know, yeah, it's so rough.
Monoliths probably become worth the points.
Yeah, big objectives.
You could take an Orc kill tank, you know, without having to commit to all 3.
Yeah. Makes
the Nid super heavies. Well, I guess the hero event is screwed by deployment zones, but you know, we'll overlook that oversight by GW. But I feel like if you just introduce that, you'd see a lot more super heavies in the game, because they're suddenly actually alright, a lot of them, for the points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. It is cool to see the Harridan on the table, though. So you get props for classiness, though.
I think you win by far spiciest to the invitation.
It was a laugh.
Out of nowhere.
The problem is, because the dice are so bad in this game, people still think it's a joke. But honestly, this guy is
it absolutely isn't. I was horrified of that thing when I saw I was trying to get. So I was like, I literally cannot deal with this.
Yeah.
And it
like if you bring your both attack bikes out at the same time, so you can shoot both. You just one shots both squads, right?
Yeah, you just pathogenic slime 4 damage into both units. That's why I had to start the Inceptors and them off the board. Like, if you didn't have them, even if it was just the Hive Guard, I'd have considered starting them on the board. But with that, it's like, well, if he chooses to fly like 40 inches straight into my deployment zone turn 1 and shoot them, then I'm just going to run out of advance most of his army.
Yeah, I think was just rough. I mean, I think probably the biggest thing was if just this X-Screen dying, because if he survives, I can actually kill all the stuff over here.
Chad, if you have any questions for the players, go ahead and throw them in chat as well as we do the breakdown.
Yeah, that X-Screen's big. I was sat there for debating to see PV roll it, because if I do just nuke him, it's like it really cuts down your solution to the next turn.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, oftentimes the exocrines can kind of bounce melt the shots. You just have to hope your 4-ups don't go well. But unfortunately, when you get them through,
yeah,
not much you can do.
Got 3 through and rolled like 12 damage.
Right, right, yeah.
What can you do?
Yeah, just the rub-ins, It's like not only will you fail to wound my stuff, but my stuff will wound you. Get out of here, Tyranids.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting to have to use the Incept to like finish it off or something, but Tech Bites just nailed it.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And you still had the second unit in the bank, too. Just in case.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have anything to do. It's like the
Right.
Harridan isn't anywhere where I can see or shoot it.
Right.
And the Maleceptor's got a 4-up invuln, and I don't want to shoot that because I want to trap it. Can't reach anything else he has, so in the L shape it is.
Yeah, fair enough. It's like you're just like loading the attack by gun. You're like, all right, we got a round in the chamber. Shoot him out.
Yeah, well, I had to get something else on this objective as well. 'Cause one Apothecary wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah, for sure.
Just that, if I get that 4-inch charge, oh my god.
So many more options.
Just that 4-inch charge, and I'm still in the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
So would the plan have been to string out and touch this objective to break the banner, and then these?
Yeah,
two
right. So I mean,
trap here.
I put some bone swords into this guy. Should kill him, right?
Yeah.
And then I wrap this bike.
Yep.
And then these are all just stuck hitting a Maleceptor for the next like 2 turns because they can't.
Then if the Maleceptor spikes and kills the lieutenant, then you hold this
Yeah,
objective
right.
too, right?
Well, I should put enough on it that I should hold it because he only had he's got like 4 models.
Yeah, I didn't have
5.
enough CP to turn off.
Yeah,
offset
it's
either
Yeah.
lieutenant.
I think it'd be tough to get 5 warriors and string back here. But I don't know.
No, just onto.
Well, because you have to, if you're fighting this guy, right? Like you have to.
Right, yeah. So I have like 3 here and then 2. Yeah, maybe.
But if you, I mean, yeah, I was surprised that the Maleceptor's first set of attacks didn't go into the lieutenant because he.
Yeah, I
almost just
forgot.
punches through the armor.
Yeah, I forgot he was he was doing that thing.
Yeah.
Giving that. And I thought the Inceptors don't really do it. Like, they're gonna fall back and they can send a CP to shoot if they want, but I guess he's got other CP to spend on stuff.
Right.
But
And
yeah,
what
if
is
I
it
like,
shooting at? Like the Harridan.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, if like then the Vanguard vet's dead. Because if this had gone better over here, so I didn't have to shoot the Vanguard vet into the Harridan into him, I'd probably just put all the shots into the Apothecary and then just kill all the attack bikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I have this, and then I don't have this objective, but you don't have that, you don't have that. You maybe only have this one, so you get no points. And then my next turn, I'll get 15 because you've got nothing to kill these warriors.
Yeah, you have to at that point. I mean, you have to hope that the warriors don't get murdered by random like 2 damage attacks. But if that doesn't happen, then yeah, I think you're right. Back
Yeah, but he wouldn't get the 2 damage though because I'm charging him, and then he's stuck, and then I've wrapped his bike.
On the White Scars next turn, right? Because they just all fall back and then they. Or not,
Yeah,
the attack bikes don't, but the rest of the army.
You'd absolutely
then
have to kill the captain.
These
and make
can't.
sure he
These
can't.
wouldn't be able to fall back because I'd be like an inch away like this, so that they can't move.
Yeah, assuming they don't kill the Maleceptor this turn.
Right.
Yeah,
Which
they
is unlikely, I guess.
definitely don't. Well,
mean,
I don't know.
the
Maybe this game they
captain-
would.
The captain
This game
is.
they would.
Yeah, as long as you get a solution for the captain, I think the Tyranid warriors are quite happy for the rest of the game.
Because they're just chilling. He can't move because he has to go. He has to just sit fighting them because he can't.
Yeah.
Back out, and then I'm just happy just sat here. With all this just stuck, and then the Harridan is just going around eating, having a good time.
Yeah.
But yeah, if that goes off, yeah, it's probably.
It's definitely
just-
a game at that point, I think, for sure.
Yeah. And 4-inch charge. 4-inch.
It's a first charge.
That's how you fail it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thanks for the game. I think I'll let you go.
All right.
Skauki, congratulations on the win. I'm excited to watch you play tomorrow. And we're about to go find out who your opponent is. So.
Okay, I will be sure to have a little watch. All right.
I'll catch you later, man.
See ya.
Cheers.
Bye.
Okay, chat. So question is when the next game is. So that is a great question. This game finished up pretty early. The next game is scheduled for 2 p.m. Yes, 2 p.m. So about 2 hours from now, I'm gonna see if we can move it up a little bit. So until then, I'm gonna vamp with y'all, and if the players get back to me pretty quickly, then I'll go ahead and schedule the next one. Otherwise, I'll just I'll turn off the stream for a bit, and then we'll be back around 2. But how's it going, chat? I'm just gonna give them a couple minutes to follow up. I think we definitely saw in that game the potential that the Harridan has. I do think that, I mean, as the players were saying, it's a little bit too dicey. It's definitely like a pretty decent unit, but unfortunately it's a little bit... It's a single model at 700 points. I also think that we could have seen the bike leave combat here. I'm not sure that you can actually stop that guy from falling back, given that he can just go up the wall. But who knows? With the angled walls, it doesn't cost him too much movement. It only costs him 7 or 8 inches to go through, and because he's a 14-inch move, he can probably just end up here and then charge back in. Normally that's not a play that is particularly reasonable, because you then also have to make a charge off of that, but because everything's so claustrophobic in this situation, I think he could still fall back and charge. So I'm not sure that the Tyranids were entirely out of the woods. It depends entirely on whether Skauki saw that line of play, but we have kind of a bird's eye view over here in the commentary, so... Dragon Beefed, what would I have taken myself as a replacement of the Harridan? Yeah, so I played the Harridan for a while when IAC came out. It was pre-January FAQ, obviously, so the list is a little bit more constrained in terms of points. The list I had with the Harridan also had, I think I played Smashy and Termagant and Swarmlord with it. It was like much less range focus. Basically just the Harridan was the only gun in the list. I think that because you have the Harridan basically takes the place of your gun line because it's so expensive, and so you have to then, like, the rest of your army has to be stuff to hold objectives, and I think just 2 units of warriors isn't quite enough. So I played like 100 Termagants in that list, and I think that was fine. I could also see myself playing like single warriors, because you can't enhance resistance both of them, so I think 2 units of warriors is probably not very good. I like the Maliceptor in the list maybe, but I think it might be overkill. So the list I probably would have made would have been like the Harridan. I think I dropped maybe the Exocrine or the Biovores, and we take, in 1 unit of warriors, we take like 100 Gants and a Hive Tyrant or something. Just like a bunch of stuff to play very aggressively. If you are playing against a White Scars army, though, you can't really fight a White Scars army up close, so I think this list is a little bit better of an option for it. I just think that, honestly, I think the Tyranid list... I think, for all the secret tech that I think Chris is trying to pull here, I think that the Tyranid list is relying on sort of a couple slightly suboptimal picks. I think the Maliceptor is a good pick to keep it safe from Melty Meltas, and if Chris gets to the next round and has to worry about like laser Ballistarii, for example, the Maliceptor is like a really good pick, but it's not quite worth 170 points. So you're like, you're paying like 20 or 30 points over for this thing, and then I think the Harridan's ridiculously overcosted for what it does. So you're probably down like 10% off of your opponent's army, just in terms of efficiency, and that in a field as tight as the top 8 of the Invitational, that's a really tough hill to get through. So I think I'd probably drop the Maleceptor. I'd drop it into Warriors. I'd take a billion Gants, and I'd take maybe something else that fights in the center. I like Swarmlord with the Harridan. It allows you to rocket it while you're hovering, which is cool. Like you can hover mode, move 20, and then Swarmlord goes up and hovers it again to move another 20 if you don't need to shoot with it. Or he can play hit and run with a Resonance Barb Hive Tyrant. So you can move a Hive Tyrant like up, drop 2 smites and a horror, and then pull it back behind an objective or behind a wall or something, and you can play that game for a while, so it's not susceptible to the attack bikes. And then Swarmlord fights all this stuff pretty well in the late game. And then just Gants to obsec everything forever, especially on Scouring. Having a bunch of objectives secured is really good. The spiciest list possible would have been 1 Manta. You just can't hold objectives, but it's fine. You know what? It's okay. Bakusha, don't exactly love Skauki's list. Primaris Smash Chappie on a bike. It would take over the captain. You lose DPS, but you get access to charge bonuses and +1 to wound. I think I like that. That's fine. What I think the reason that the captain is in here is for the rerolls on the Inceptors. If you don't have reroll ones on the Inceptors, a lot of times they kill like half their own unit when they shoot. When they overload. So I think that's the tiebreaker between the chaplain and the captain. I imagine that Skauki probably would have taken a chaplain if he didn't need that reroll though. And I really like the bike chaplain in White Scars. I think everyone does. I'm just gonna see if we hear back from the players for round 2 chat. Otherwise, we're just gonna go with the normal schedule, so we will be waiting a little bit. This game, the players actually, I had to before the game started, I actually had to hold the players up a little bit because they were so ready to go. They were finished deploying like 15 minutes before the stream was supposed to go live. It was fortunate though. We had unfortunately one player lost internet a little bit before, so it worked out, but it was funny. Dreadlord JJ, so excited for my first Tyranid Crusade this weekend. That's awesome, dude. Tyranids seem pretty good in Crusade. Tyranids are really good at low points games, by the way. Ooh, boy. Get Hive Tyrants and Combat Patrol. Ooh. Ooh. So next matchup, chat, I guess we can talk about it a little bit while we're seeing if the players will get back. Is going to be Alex Squires versus Liam. Liam from WTC Team Belgium. One of the best Harlequin players in the world. Playing, interestingly, Frozen Stars, Shadowseer, Double Troopmaster. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Starweaver troops. Mostly melee weapons. Actually, no fusion pistols in this list, interestingly. He's dropped the fusion pistols to take the full 15 Skyweavers. And we've seen Liam a lot of times play very, very cagey games, and I think he's hoping to do that on the Scouring since this the map is so conducive to defensive play with these big L's. You can hide 2 or 3 Skyweaver units back behind here. These are also tall enough to hide Skyweavers, if I remember correctly, so you can hide a Skyweaver unit sort of in this zone right here. And you can play a super defensive game and try to score while we stand, which is a lot of times 15 points. And then like Prismatic Blur anytime they get into danger, and then try to get those 15 points out of it. He's playing against Alex Squires, playing Adeptus Mechanicus, Styges, with 3 Disintegrators, 2 Fusilavs, and a bunch of melee dudes. 15 Corpuscarii, 9 Fulgurites, as well as the 5 Cognis Lascannon Iron Striders. That's a rough matchup for Harlequins, but I think it is a favorable objective for them in this particular situation, since the only real front line on the Mechanicus list is the Fulgurites as well as 10 Cerberus Raiders. And you should be able to clear that out pretty, with the entire Harlequins army, you should be able to kill that stuff. And then just play a defensive game from there. That'll be a really interesting matchup. I'm very excited for it. I think a lot of people have been saying how good it's going to look. Barbasor wins the winner of the giveaway going to be decided. I guess we could... I think I'm going to push the giveaway through next round. We'll decide next round who the winner is. So you can continue to buy tickets if you want, if you're sticking around. Ape of Justice loved playing Nids back in 4th edition. Kassan and GC into combat fighting again. Yeah, the being able, when you could consolidate back into melee, and then there were no rules to fall back were ridiculous. Also, GC was being initiative 6, so they always fought first, and they always won sweeping advance roll-offs. Were so disgusting. I had back and forth that I had a local who played Necrons. And that was when Necrons died if you ever killed, I think it was 2/3 of their army or 3/4 of their army or something. They immediately lost the game. Then it was pretty brutal because they were initiative 1 and they would just die. Ridiculous. Change to always saying we fight into the 3 Skyweavers does limit how much offensive push they can do. Yes. Well, we've seen. I mean, we've watched Liam play. Keon, if you win the giveaway, I'll hit you up. All right, don't worry, I got you. If the winner of the giveaway is announced and they're not in the chat, but their username matches somebody in the Discord, I'll find them. So don't worry. And if you're not in the Discord, ! Discord in the chat, go over there and chill. But we've seen Liam play his Skyweavers as Wowie stands in almost all of his previous games in the group stage, and he just plays them he just plays the most passive game you can imagine with Harlequins. A lot of times Frozen Star's Harlequin players, the impetus is to just send the rocket them across the table and be like, haha, here we are, we +1 attack, look at me go. I tag everything, I engage everything. And Liam just puts 15 Skyweavers in his deployment zone and then just says go. And he eventually, he slowly loses them, but they don't die quickly enough for it to be a big deal. And especially since you can Veil of Illusion them, you can actually make it so the disintegrators can't shoot from one L to the other. So they're not they're in great danger if they're just chilling back here, and you can always move them 1,000 inches across the table. So I think it feels like Liam, because of his game plan, is probably favored in this mission. It is a little bit awkward because the laser chickens are so tough and they can kill everything that hits, sits on an objective. But the front line of the Harlequins army is Starweavers, which then you put a Starweaver here and it gets killed by chickens, and then you put 5, you emergency disembark 5 players over here, and the chickens can't get you. You may get killed by the Belleros, but it requires basically half of an Adeptus Mechanicus army to kill 1 Skyweaver full of troopers, and that's just not particularly viable, or it's not particularly efficient, I guess. He's just not going to present the Admech army with anything to shoot with its direct fire guns, so it's going to be relying on the Fulgurites and stuff. Maybe teleporting Corpuscarii. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. I'm excited to see it. Both of these are really good players, ostensibly, and I do think that Adeptus Mechanicus has some really good tools against Harlequins. Just indirect fire and bombs are particularly brutal. All right, I haven't heard back from the players yet, so I'm going to go ahead and turn off this stream for now. We'll be back in about an hour and a half with the next round. So we're going to do it at the standard time. And then from there at 5 p.m., so 2 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, so about an hour and a half from right now, we're going to have that matchup between Liam and Alex. At 5 p.m., we're going to have Valdor and Animander. We may be simul-streaming them if they get started around the same before the previous game has ended. And then last but certainly not least, we're going to have at 1800 or at 2000 to 8 p.m., we're going to have Ashley Thompson versus Rays playing Tesseract Vault, which will be sick. So all of these games are going to be spicy.
Yeah!
Yeah, we got Duchess Mechanicus versus Harlequins, two of the top factions of the metagame round 2, or game 2. Game 3, we have Hecaton Iacos versus Wolfen. Yeah, boy. And then game 4, we have a Tesseract Vault and 2 Catan trying to mortal wound their way out of a Sororitas army. So I'm psyched for these games, chat. We'll be live in just a little bit, so stay tuned. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the stream. We'll turn it back on once we get closer to the final time there. So thanks everybody for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.